Uh,
All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. It's Nintendo Direct Day, I guess.
kind of. Well, it's certainly a Monday. It's a Monday direct. It's a direct that inherently and intrinsically contains the qualities of a Monday,
I'd
because
like
it's
I'd like to
the
read something.
it's the toenail of a direct. I feel like that should be our slogan for this video. That we're discussing a toenail of a direct. It's not. It's like it's got some scum on the bottom of it. It's kind of falling apart. Like it's a really nasty toenail, and it's very short. It's very small,
I
much like a
tweeted this
toenail.
morning at 8:53 a.m. I tweeted, "This is the Nintendo equivalent of going to bed thinking you're gonna have a snow day and then waking up to a 1 hour delay."
Mm.
Um, that wasn't even accurate.
No,
I've
yeah, I think the toenail thing is more accurate.
I think your toenail. Let's put it this way: we watched this live together.
Hmm.
It's 8 minutes and 14 seconds, and
Oh
five
god.
five
Oh.
minutes and 30 seconds of that was going, oh god, oh fuck, as we looked at the runtime.
Oh.
Um,
Oh god.
so
Everything. Oh.
so
Okay.
here's what I think.
Oh no.
Let's run down those announcements really quick. But honestly, I don't give a shit about that direct. I want to talk about Nintendo's like 2020 as a bigger
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, yeah. We'll
Um,
spend 2 minutes talking about the direct and 40 minutes complaining about it.
yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
So the first announcement was the only one I personally cared about. Kane's a Hyrule DLC. Kansas Hyrule is actually a really fun game. It's a really interesting roguelite. I only played through it one time, and I just kind of put it down. And I've been wanting to return to it actually, so to have DLC with new characters is really cool. Honestly, the only really interesting DLC is that Skull Kid like actual story expansion, but that's coming by October, so that's really weird. It should have all come out like now. But I mean, it's cool that we're getting it. I'm literally refreshing the eShop trying to get that fucking season pass to come up so I can buy it because I will. But then after that, did we go directly into
Road
WWE
Company.
Road
No,
Company?
Road Company.
What I
Well,
liked
it's sort of.
what I liked about the Road Company announcement was that it was a nondescript trailer with about 15 seconds of gameplay, and then the stinger was that at some point later today on Twitter, the Road Company Twitter had an announcement to make.
It's funny that they honestly like this is more high profile than their entire account, like their entire Twitter account. So they're like, shit, how do we get people to know that there's going to be an announcement on Twitter, which is a bad way to announce anything through Twitter. So they unfortunately I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot on this because not only were they 1/4 of the fucking direct, they were in a toenail of a direct. More people are going to be talking about the fact that this direct sucks than paying attention to the fact that they want to announce something about their game. So I
Let
think I think they actually hurt their chances of this announcement being noticed.
let me see if I can get you a live update on the like to dislike ratio here.
Oh yeah, here we go. All right, hi guys, welcome to a new bit just for this discussion, where we check how many likes versus dislikes the official Nintendo YouTube video for this direct has.
Right now, as of 10:22 Eastern Standard Time, we have 26,000 likes and 25,000 dislikes.
Oh, we're so close. Okay, hopefully by the time this video ends, this is our goal, guys. All right, everyone, if you're watching, go dislike this video. Make sure Nintendo knows this is not what we fucking want
For
from a
full
direct.
transparency, this is the first time I've ever disliked a direct.
Yeah,
Like
no,
hit the dislike button.
honestly. Yeah, no, I honestly don't dislike videos, like almost ever. So when you were like, all right, I'm disliking this, I'm like, you know what? I did dislike this video. This video made me feel things I should not feel when I'm watching a video. We were talking about one of the first things we were talking about when we started our call this morning talking about the direct, um, is that the first mini direct of this year, while it may have seemed disappointing at the time because we haven't got a fucking direct since October of last year,
It was September of
right?
last year.
Or really? Wow.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was because
September.
Banjo came out last September.
Yeah. Okay, September of last year, and we got this mini direct that not that big, like couple good announcements, whatever. That was a beast compared to this one. That was a great direct compared to this one. Oh,
The
Christ.
moment that really got me was after another fucking minute and 15 seconds of WWE shovelware. The voiceover guy was like, "So what do you think so far?"
I know, how are you feeling? Something like that.
And
Hey
then
guys, it's me, your friendly neighborhood fucking shitty direct guy.
we got two Atlas announcements. Neither were Persona 5 or Persona 5 Scramble. One was 20 seconds of Shin Megami Tensei 5 footage, which is no more or less than we got in January of 2017, and the game still doesn't come out until next year.
This was the first amount of our first piece of new information I think we've gotten since
We
2017. Am I
got a
correct?
release year, yes.
Yeah.
We also got a release year for Shin Megami Tensei 3 remake.
Well, I think
Um,
there was like a season window or a month or something like that, like January or something. I can't remember.
I just knew
But
it.
here's the thing: those two announcements are actual
Yeah,
announcements. They're things that people will care about. That was certainly they did have a big opener and closer, all things considered.
they should have
Credit for
just
credit's due.
put out a video on YouTube that's like, "Hey, here's some Shin Megami Tensei news," and then you get rid of all the expectations because that's what we're going to talk about a lot in a minute. But let me tell you something. My expectations are immediately tempered when it said rating pending to teen at the very beginning, because
Yep.
immediately there went No More Heroes 3, there went Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
And as soon as those were gone, I was like, this is this is not good.
Yeah, so that was the funny thing about last night about me just randomly checking Twitter and seeing 9 minutes ago a fucking Nintendo Direct was announced for 10 hours from then. And seeing people sort of confused on what it was because this is a new format of Direct. If you're watching this, you know what we're talking about. But it's a new format of Direct that is a partner showcase, I think, where they show off games that are published or developed by their partners, whatever. And that's a
Because
pretty vague.
yes,
It's a pretty vague thing because why are all the games they announced exclusive? Like,
no.
is Rogue Company not coming to anything else, or it is?
Rogue Company is coming to other things and being ported to Switch. That WWE game is multi-plat. I would be fucking shocked if that Shin Megami Tensei 3 thing was exclusive, but SMT5 is, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So that's very interesting. Is that they do have partners that are working on games that people care about. That would be good announcements. We haven't gotten anything about Bayonetta 3 since it was announced. We got like a piddling thing of them saying like, "Guys, don't worry, guys, we're still working on it." Um, but that got nothing. And No More Heroes 3, which is still supposedly fucking coming out this year,
It's not
right?
coming this year.
Oh, okay. Why are you saying that?
Well, it's 2020, but Suda fucking shows up in everyone's presentation to literally just show him standing in front of his TV
Oh
blocking
yeah,
out the footage. And the last time he did that at the Devolver thing, which was just a week ago, he was playing it on a PC dev kit. So that game's just not coming out this year. It's just not.
yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Even Bravely Default. That's a game that people care a little more about, right?
That seemed like a slam dunk. That seemed obvious.
Yeah, because not only is that it's smaller tier announcement, and that was their big announcement at Game Awards. Oh god. Um, yeah,
We didn't realize at the time what Game
that was a
Awards
sign of the
2019 was
fucking
beginning.
times, bro. That was a harbinger of death.
We didn't realize it. We're like, well, Nintendo's gonna miss here and there. Little do we know. All right. I don't have anything else to say about the Direct itself. It was a
Yeah.
fucking enormous disappointment. Before we get into Nintendo's 2020 as a whole, I'd like to give you an
All right.
update.
Oops, sorry. The segment returns. How
This is
many?
interesting. We're at 29,000 likes, 28,000 dislikes.
Oh, come on, guys. Who's liking this fucking video? Who's
They're
liking
neck
it?
and neck.
What? Who? How many Shin Megami Tensei fans are there? Maybe 29,000? So now that we've gotten them out of the way,
Yes.
maybe that we got in the middle of the way. We can.
All right. So now it's time to talk about Nintendo's 2020 as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple ways I'd like to frame this. The first one I want to talk about is the thing Nintendo started their presentation with. Their message about COVID-19.
Yeah.
Here's my opinion on Nintendo and coronavirus. First things first. Nintendo is the only company that has been impeded by coronavirus in the sense that they have been not communicating with the audience. Sony has held a Last of Us Part 2 state of play, a Ghost of Tsushima state of play, the PS5 reveal. They've launched Ghost of Tsushima, they launched Iron Man VR, they launched Last of Us Part 2. Ghost of Tsushima, Iron Man VR, Last of Us Part 2 were all wrapped up in a specifically COVID-related delay, which Sony came out, released a statement and said, look, because of coronavirus, we have to shift these release dates because it's impeding our production. This was happening. Microsoft, I think, is doing not as good of a job, but they're still doing it. They're still making things happen.
Doing a job.
Yes, they've got a 2-hour showcase on Thursday. They had the
Oh
third
Christ!
party.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they're both launching the console this year. The fact of the matter is, it's holding Nintendo to a different standard than everyone else, and really undercutting their competence as a company to say that because of the coronavirus, they can't be communicating. So that doesn't fly with me. I don't know how you feel about that, but that excuse doesn't fly with me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I do think is fair, though. Furukawa released a statement and said that currently nothing has been delayed because of coronavirus. But if there's another wave in the future, development might be impacted. So what I think is actually the smart thing to do is to look at whatever games were coming out this year and move some of them into 2021 to safeguard against delays in the future, to keep some kind of release calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were getting less announcements, that's what I was thinking was going to happen, to keep stuff happening in 2021 to safeguard against any possible delays in the future. But we don't have anything for this year either. We don't have anything for next year from Nintendo. They're not saying what's happening. And AAA Nintendo games are not developed in 4 months. Coronavirus didn't start, and Nintendo wasn't in the midst of finishing a game. Anything that's going to come out this year has been in development for years. So it's going to be done.
The interesting thing is that there kind of was. I mean, Paper Mario wasn't even announced until we were already under quarantine. So they must have already had that game finished and just let the release and announcement be what it was going to be. Because if that game wasn't impeded, that game should have been impeded. It should have been being finished up during coronavirus time. But apparently, I don't know.
Nintendo notoriously goes gold on games way before that they come out. I don't know if you remember, but back in 2015 when Twilight Princess HD was coming out, it was found in the eShop before it was even announced. Because Nintendo just notoriously finishes games and sits on them. And even if they didn't do that, games like Ghost and Last of Us Part 2, which frankly are much larger endeavors than anything Nintendo's going to put out, and because of the way they mocap and do stuff that Nintendo doesn't do, those are the games that should be impacted. They weren't, because those things, the development process is happening not 2 months before the game's being finished. It's being bug tested and it's being QA'd and everything's happening, right?
Yeah.
But development should be pretty close to done. So Nintendo should have games they've been working on for the last couple of years that should be close to ready, but they aren't. Now I was thinking about it this morning, and I don't think Nintendo has more than 1 or 2 games the rest of 2020.
You mean still coming, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a fair bet. I think there's something that's going to happen probably in the next God, I can't even say that anymore. But hopefully in the next month or something we get a reasonably sized 30 plus minute direct, whatever. Something where they say, here are the final games coming out this year. Unfortunately, we've had to push development of Bayonetta and Breath of the Wild 2, whatever it is. Give us a Super Mario Party 2. give us a new Pokemon Snap. Give us another Mario spinoff. I don't even know, but give us like a couple piddling games, and then maybe one other mediocrely large game like a Luigi's Mansion 3 type tier game to like sort of close out the year. But then they say I feel like they're not going to communicate much on future announcements because they're so afraid of delays, right? Is they have already been pushing things back even before coronavirus. Is Metroid Prime 4 got fucked over? Obviously, that's a classic example. But I mean, even things like Yoshi's Crafted World. Remember that got pushed. And I'm pretty sure Three Houses got pushed.
Hold on.
Yeah. You got someone vacuuming?
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, do we really need editing? Do we need to edit these? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, it sounds like the vacuuming's done.
What the fuck were they vacuuming for 5 seconds? Did they drop a crumb?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I crumbled one Cheez-It on the ground. Instead of sweeping it up in my hand, I'll pull out the entire fucking vacuum cleaner. Okay. Oh, Christ. How do I get back into what I was saying?
You were talking about games being delayed before,
Yeah. But I don't know how to start that back up.
Just be like fucking...
Okay, so those games got delayed, and then I remember Nintendo being pretty vague about those games' releases after their announcements. Right, in the Yoshi's Crafted World reveal trailer, there was a clear 2018, I think, or something like that. Right, it was a year window, and then that didn't happen, which is fine. But for all those games, they were sort of vague about their releases until they were pretty close to coming out. But now they are having games be pushed not by their own accord, not because they want to keep polishing it or whatever the case may be, but because that there's a legitimate reason why development needs to slow down. So I don't think that they want to really announce things unless it's getting closer, so they don't keep up the stigma of, oh shit, we have to announce things super early and then delay them.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't feel like we're gonna even get that much information about their 2021 release calendar, which means this fucking year of shit might stretch into a year and a half of shit.
Well, they're certainly not going to talk about anything for 2021 if they're not talking about anything for 2020 yet.
Exactly.
But I think that they don't want to announce something too far in advance, but they're not going to announce something too close to release, Because you're not going to announce something in July for an August release.
Yeah.
You're just not going to, because it needs some kind of marketing cycle. It needs to be pressed onto cartridges. It needs all this stuff. So, I don't know. I just really think that those Mario 3D remasters might not even be real.
God, wait, we were supposed to have a fucking 35th anniversary Mario Direct today.
I don't think, because if you read all the people that were talking about this Direct, from Kelios, who leaked it, who clearly has some kind of source, because Kelios got down to the time of the announcement and the time of the showcase correct. Kelios believed the games were going to be here that weren't. King Zell said that this was going to be Mario. Marcus Seller said this was going to be... Marcus Seller said we're going to get a fucking Mario Kart today. He got the time right. So clearly, no one knows what's happening. It's possible even inside of Nintendo they don't know what's happening. Those 3D Mario remasters might be an idea that was worked on that didn't get finished. I kind of think that's what happened to Star Fox Grand Prix. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened to the 3D Mario remasters. Because those are games you don't bring back Super Mario 64 and announce that 6 weeks before it's going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, if Nintendo had been like, hey, here's this clearly as Imran Khan said on Twitter, clearly contractually obligated third-party marketing. Rock Block. Tune back in next week for more like actual announcements.
Yeah.
That would have at least let us know that Nintendo has some kind of direction.
There's a ray of hope.
But no, even if they were like, look, you're getting your next Nintendo Direct in September. Like, at least if we knew something.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know anything, so I'm really deeply skeptical that we're getting anything of consequence for the rest of 2020. I really think Nintendo's just going to ride out Animal Crossing, ride out their sales, hold on to whatever games they have in case there is a coronavirus second wave that really, really messes up long-term development. And I think they're just going to call it a year.
Yeah, I think one thing I think is interesting, and as I said on Twitter, is that this is interesting because it is supposedly an entry in a new series of directs of partner showcases, which will probably be shorter and providing updates and such. But this is not a good way to for a first impression, because there are games that people care about that they could have provided updates for in this. Again, we haven't heard anything about Bayonetta 3, and we haven't heard much about No More Heroes 3. And if those games had been there, it would at least set the precedent that these might have something of consequence. Unfortunately, Shin Megami Tensei, I think we're downplaying that is a bigger announcement than either of us care about. But I just think it's interesting that they are starting a series of smaller directs that they easily could have started this trend earlier in the cycle of quarantine, and had a very, they could call it a super mini direct or something like that, something really short, and had the Paper Mario Origami King reveal trailer alongside a Animal Crossing update news, alongside whatever little Pokemon thing. Like, they could have combined these into a couple sparsed out directs to make it feel like they had a plan. The just dropping of trailers for Animal Crossing updates, which people care about, new Paper Mario game, which people care about, dropping them like fucking putting sprinkles on a cake, which is a bad example because these are not as tasty as cake. I don't know. It's just such a strange choice to me, because I don't even think I would be as upset about their lack of communication if it was what communication they had was formatted through small directs. I feel like that would have actually been kind of fun if, every few weeks we got whatever announcements they were planning to drop on Twitter and YouTube in the format of a short direct. I feel like that would have been a better marketing scheme.
No, that's the thing. There's no plan. I don't even believe that this is the start of a new series. We've gotten what? Indie showcases, Nindy showcases, Nindy World presentations, Nintendo Directs, Nintendo Direct Micros, game-specific Directs, Nintendo Direct Minis. There's like almost 10 different sub-brandings for Directs, and this pops out of nowhere. I don't know, maybe we'll get more of these. But the other thing, we were talking about this a little bit, what doesn't communicate any confidence to me is announcing it at midnight when everyone's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Even other regions of the world, like Europe, that was what, 5 a.m? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have muffins now. Yeah, see you later, Mom. All right, sounds good. Not much. Not much. Tucker and I are recording. So sorry. That's okay. See you later, Mom. Bye.
All right,
I'm gonna have to make 2 edits into this video.
Yeah.
But okay, but I was talking about fucking mini directs and right. Okay, here's my big problem, right? I'm just tired of Nintendo not having a strategy, because and not only not having a strategy, having clearly incompetent marketing people in charge of their plan right now. Like, we see this differently, but that Treehouse Live was a big mistake.
Oh yeah. The Bakugan thing. Oh god.
That was a big mistake that was avoidable.
Why could they not have just saved that for this?
Again,
Like,
I don't
add
know.
add another announcement to this. Make it feel more substantial.
And then this, again, is a big mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm really tired of people on Twitter saying that Nintendo fans are being entitled because they're getting upset. And there is a lot of fan entitlement in Nintendo community that just is. It's a big problem. I mean, fucking look at anything Nintendo does. There are people giving them shit for it. But Nintendo is in the position they're in 2020 right now purely by their own design.
Yep.
The, Nintendo is a smart company. They've been around literally almost 200 years or something. The point is, they know how to be nimble. They know how to adapt. Even in just looking at their time as a video game manufacturer, they've been able to basically cheat death a bajillion times.
Yeah.
Um, so they know what they're doing. But I can't think of a time, even during the Wii U days, when Nintendo's felt as directionless as this. Because at least when Nintendo didn't fucking say anything for half of a year in the Wii U generation, what were you gonna expect? They weren't doing anything anyway, right? But they've got all this momentum with the Switch right now. It's a great platform. There's so many games coming to it. And now all of a sudden everything's dried up and they're not talking. And then when they do talk, every single time it's been a miscommunication of some sort.
Yeah.
I just don't get what's happening. It's that simple. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's fine to have a down year. Nintendo's always had down years. That's part of being a Nintendo fan is understanding that they have these ridiculous cyclical happenings where we get a great year and a weak year. It just happens. I don't like it, but it happens, and I'm used to it. But this is not a down year. This is weird.
Yeah, I it's interesting. My perspective on this whole year has been pretty meh. It's a new word, but we're gonna go with it. Is that I have not been that disappointed by I've been confused, but more like it doesn't really impact me. Um, I've really just in the last week or so been realizing how bad this really is, because not only do we not have any games coming out, not only are we not getting any communication, but it's almost deliberate, right? Like, how can you be such a big company and think that this is an okay way to market yourself, right? I have not been into the video game news cycle community, whatever, for a long enough time to remember the early days of the Wii U or the 3DS or any of the really major down times. I paid attention to the Smash 4 announcement cycle. That's about it, and Pokemon stuff. But so this for me is sort of a new thing for Nintendo to be silent, for it to be no games and stuff like that. And it took this direct, not its announcement. Its announcement I was fine with, and I had some hope that it was going to be at least Bayonetta 3 or something, something like that. Or as you were saying, technically Pokemon would count for this. We could have gotten a new Pokemon Snap information. But when I probably remember the noise I made when I clicked on that video and I saw 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah.
I was already worried from push dust in being it saying it's going to be 10 minutes. It wasn't even 10 minutes. And so much of the trailers that they were showing were they're downtime. Like it wasn't a snappy direct format. I just it took this one for the shoe to finally drop and for me to be like, no, this year is as bad as people are whining about. The whining is valid, and I will join you in this fucking crusade. And on that note, let's pull up our segment again. Whip out your phone.
Did you watch E3 2015 as I pull this up? Did you watch Nintendo Showcase that year?
No way. No way I cared about that.
Okay, well, we're going to get back to that in a second after we play everyone's favorite game. How many dislikes does a Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase have? Funnily enough, it's still positive. We've got 36,000 likes, 35,000 dislikes.
Wow. Huh.
For comparison's sake, the suggested video for me is the Wii U overview video. How many likes and dislikes does this have? That's very positive, actually. That's surprising me. But okay. So at E3 2015, We were coming off of a long period of it was time for new Animal Crossing to be announced, basically. It's time for home console Wii U Animal Crossing. That's a fun noise.
There you go.
And we got there, and there was this trailer. You see a gamepad, then you see an Isabelle amiibo
yeah.
on, and everyone freaked out. And it turned out to be Amiibo Festival.
Yeah.
That was an instance of Nintendo's marketing just being off, of them having something to communicate and them communicating it so poorly and being so oblivious to the perception of things that it was bad. 2015 was a bad year. I don't know if you weren't paying
The
attention.
dark age of Nintendo.
Yes, if you're
To quote our good
fan,
friend.
you'd be intimately familiar with how much of a trash fire part of that year was. Don't forget though, that year gave us Super Mario Maker and Splatoon, which are great games.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but the point is, all of 2020 has felt like that Animal Crossing Meal Festival reveal, because at every turn, Nintendo has had something that carries connotations and expectations with it, and they've completely fucked it up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of one instance of Nintendo properly messaging anything in 2020.
Well, I think that actually extends, right? I think starting at the end of last year, I really think Pokemon Sword and Shield were sort of the last thing that they communicated on.
Well, hold on. Well, I mean, I guess so. Well, I mean, kind of. Well, then that game was fucking entirely controversy.
Yeah,
I
yeah. But I mean, at least it was
Luigi's
communicated consistently. It had consistent communication. People were not happy with the communication, but they talked about the game.
Junichi Masuda probably lied in his interviews.
Yeah.
Here, but I don't want to talk about that game. Luigi's Mansion 3 was the last game that was properly communicated that no one had issues with the Nintendo revealed, and it got better as they showed it off, and they showed it off consistently, and it released at a good time.
Yeah.
Let's say that was the last one for the sake of continuity.
Okay.
I tweeted about this, and I don't know what your opinion is on it, but I wonder how much President Furukawa is to blame for this.
Yeah.
Because Satoru Iwata was an excellent president.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very hands-on with directs, and during that time, even when Nintendo was doing really bad in the Wii U era, we still got very consistent communication. Usually it's communication about games we didn't want, but it was still communication. We still had, directs we could rely on. But starting really last year, starting in 2018 with the infamous Flaming Chibi Robo Mini Direct debacle, we started to see Nintendo lose sight of how to talk to the audience. And it's just disappointing, I guess. I'm kind of just circling the fucking drain here.
Honestly, so is everyone at the moment. And it seems, especially Nintendo, they are in the drain. And they're having a hard time climbing out. The funny thing is, it really would not be that difficult for them to correct course on this. Right?
Well,
there are games that they could fucking talk about. They are working on video games. I mean, one of the biggest announcements of this generation was the fucking splash logo of Metroid Prime 4.
Oh,
they could do that again for whatever games they're fucking working on, and that would at least be like, oh shit, we can add these to the list of this is what's coming. But they don't want to make those PNGs.
They don't even need that. Here's what they need, and I firmly believe this. They need a tweet on Twitter that is a PNG image of a message that says, "Look, coronavirus is affecting us. Due to coronavirus, we are holding some announcements to make sure that you have games throughout this year, next year. As of right now, we are not confident to reveal those because we don't want to have unfair expectations. In the meantime, please look forward to a Nintendo Direct or even just a new game reveal in the coming weeks that will inform you about what you're going to play this fall and holiday season. Please expect 1 or 2 games. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for supporting Nintendo and the Switch. Have a good day." It's that simple.
Damn.
That's not unreasonable to ask. It's not unreasonable to ask for Nintendo to communicate with the audience honestly.
Yeah.
And there's a little precedent for it. That Metroid Prime 4 development update video was unprecedented.
Yeah.
I think it was a huge blunder, but it was an unprecedentedly honest moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, the fact that Nintendo was like, look, the game didn't live up to our standards. We are scrapping it, and we are coming to you with nothing other than the fact that the game you've been waiting for since what? When did Metroid? I think Corruption came out in 2009. The game you've been waiting for over 10 years. We started it over. You're not seeing it for another 4. We're sorry, but we want you to know this.
Yeah.
Where is that? You know?
Yep.
That's all I need. I don't need a game every month for the rest of the year. I really don't. I would love one. I'd love to have another year like 2019 where every month but by June every month we got a really exciting game. But I don't need that. If I have one thing for the rest of the year, okay, just let me know. Just let me know
Yeah.
so I can set my expectations accordingly. It's
Yeah.
that simple.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't think we can say much more about this. We've delved into the history of Nintendo. We've delved into the psychology of business. This has been an unexpectedly profound discussion.
The
And I
Cadence of
think,
Hyrule DLC isn't live either.
yeah, that's another announcement. I was trying to end this, but you know what? I'm gonna talk about that. That's a game that I don't really care about. Didn't play it. Don't really have any plans to. I know it's one people cared about. It was an interesting way to open the direct. It's something that actually has some consequence to it, and it's a decent announcement. I do think that the format of giving an indie game a healthy amount of DLC is not a common thing. B is that they announced 3 packs at once. 1 releasing today, 2 without release dates, and that these easily could have just been a $120 thing. This is you're paying for new content. Instead, they wanted the idea of a season pass so badly that they stretched out DLC for a fucking indie game over the course of a significant amount of months. I don't want to count, but I think that's a very interesting announcement, just of how it's formatted. I don't know.
I'm most interested by the fact that Nintendo has not done another indie partnership since that. Like, if they had shut the fuck up about Cadence of Hyrule, then I would have been like, okay, maybe it didn't work out or something. But the fact that they're continuing to support it means that, I don't know, Nintendo likes this idea, so I'd love to see them do more partnerships. I think Cadence of Hyrule is a great game. I really enjoyed it when it first came out. I'm excited to play it again with this new content. But why wasn't that a Twitter announcement? Why did Paper Mario the Origami King get announced randomly on Twitter, but Cadence of Hyrule DLC that's not coming out for months, it got announced in a direct... I don't know. I don't know. That's the bottom line. I don't know. I really can't wait for Arlo to post a video about this.
I can't wait for the reaction to this. I'm someone who personally loves watching reactions and listening to discussions and all sorts of things, sort of just to get the gist of what the community is feeling about all sorts of announcements, basically any announcement. It's going to be fun, especially fun to watch this one because it's such a short direct that skimming through it for the facial reactions to it and then listening to the 20-30 minutes that they discuss it afterward, it's going to be a breeze. But people are going to be so passionate about it that I think the discussions will be very interesting. And I think that this, for me being the main example, this is going to be the other shoe that drops that is going to make people realize that really this is proof that Nintendo doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They've not known what the fuck they're doing for a while, and retrospectively I recognize that. But I think more people are going to come around to that fact because of this. It was so tone deaf in its announcement, in the content, in the fact that the Japanese one has a lot more stuff. I mean, it switches a region-free console. they can talk about things. Whatever. I think that about does it for this discussion. We've gone way deeper into many aspects of this that maybe we don't need to, but we did. So
Here's what I like to do. I'm not a spiritual man, but I do like to engage in a good little bit of superstition here and there. Okay?
okay.
So here's what I'd like to do for you.
Okay. I guess I'm here to entertain you guys while he's off. Oh, he's back. Okay.
My honest feeling right now is that the only thing we're getting for the rest of 2020, I'm going to say those Mario 3 remasters. Even though now I have no confidence they're real, I'm going to operate under the assumption that Jeff Grubb wouldn't lie to me. Because I don't have any money in the stock market, but I have a lot of intellectual capital in the Jeff Grubb market. So I think those are still going to happen. But there's also a rumor, Tucker, that there's going to be a new 2D Metroid game this year. I no longer think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
However, I would like to end today's discussion by performing a ritual for you to hopefully make this game happen. I've got my Metroid on my head. I've got my DK bongos in my lap. I just summoned a new Metroid for you all. You're welcome. Talk to you later,
beautiful.
fuckers.
Yeah. Oh, God.